Mandolin tuning issues that you may not be considering. Starting at the headstock, okay? Like, are your strings locked in your pegs up here? Are your tuners messed up? Probably not. Next place is the nut here, especially on your G and D strings on the mandolin. Any of the wound strings, if there's a rut in your nut, then the strings might be getting clasped by it, which makes, when you turn this, it makes them either go too far or not go far enough or get caught in there in some way or another. So you can put graphite under there, or you can have somebody take a V file, and fix that, or do it yourself. Those are tuning issues. If you get your string gets caught in here, you can sometimes pop it back here or pull it or tug it or push it on this side to normalize that tension there. Okay, moving down here, a potential reason you could be going out of tune when you're anywhere on the neck here is because your frets are worn out. If your frets have ruts in them and you have to push your string down farther than necessary to make the note, that means that you are moving the string more, and however much you move the string, it alters the tuning of it that tiny little bit as well. So if you have to push it down further to get the note, then that could be a possibility for tuning issues. While we're here, another thing about pushing down is sometimes if you're pushing hard or down or against the frets or whatever, especially on this A string, it's the worst culprit. You know, if you try to play with the same, dig in with the same gusto as you can on these strings, and you end up bending the notes, and just the littlest bit on here can cause that to happen. So one thing to look at as a solution for that is, are your fingers coming in at an angle, or are they coming in this way where they're going to push against? You want them coming in at an angle where they're going to slide down and stay in tune with each other. So next thing, going up the neck, would be, I guess, to the pick, which if you're playing too hard, that could potentially knock the strings out of tune, especially if they're new strings that have not been stretched out. So when it comes to stretching out a string, if you do this, see how went out of tune, but barely. That's because I've stretched these already. But when you have new strings on, if you do that, it'll completely collapse into out of tuneness. So you keep stretching them and then tuning it against the other string until you get it sort of up to tension. Then you can start to get everything else in tune. We'll talk about tuning the notes and getting up to tension in just a minute, because that's a big, easy one to miss. But while we're here, going down the neck, your pick, playing too hard or whatever, if the strings aren't stretched or any of that stuff, if you play a string really hard and you do have these and it is clasping up here at the nut, then playing hard will cause that string to pull down and get caught in there and go out of tune as well. All that same stuff that can happen here can happen down here. And so that's all the same as far as what could be making it not be in tune. And this is, relative tuning to itself. We're not just talking about a string being out of tune or whatever, but like being able to, I've been messing with it, so it's gone a little bit out. But being able to play a chord and have the whole thing sound in tune, and then being able to play that chord up the neck and have it sound in tune. And that's where this really comes in. Is when you start to, if you play up the neck a lot and you start to realize that it just doesn't sound right. That can be because this guy, the bridge, is not in the right place. Now these mandolins have movable bridges. Even if you change one string at a time all the time and all that stuff, and do your best practice there to keep the bridge from moving out of place. Eventually, over time, with changes in temperature and breathing of the wood and all that, this sucker moves, and just the tension of the strings is causing it to move. So it will move, and your up the neck double stops will start to sound a little less pretty, and you may be going, "What is happening?" But this guy, keeping this guy in, the way to check that is to check your harmonic note against your fretted note. Harmonic 12th against your fretted 12th. And of course, use a tuner to get it much more precise. But that's a big one that often is not addressed, okay? And then, notice that you can move it. This bridge moves this way, but it also moves this way, and it also moves this way. So those are all things to check in your alignment. It's kind of a pain to get this thing in tune. It almost, rivals the pedal steel maybe. Another big thing is when you're tuning, these things are sensitive, especially if you're playing these old prehistoric ones, which on these, a lot of times the tuners, really hard to get them right because of the fine tuning. But of course, get your note and then tune your second string to the note that you already got, because these things will make a tuner go crazy. You can only get one note off the tuner. So get your note there, your D. There it is, and now you can knock the other one down a little bit and bring it back up. But these things are real sensitive to the tension, so as I change the tension across the neck, it's going to change all the tension on all the other strings relatively. So in a sense, the tuning is never done, but if you're doing that trick, don't drop the tension too much or it'll have a backlash. But here, so we get that. But once we get this guy, then we got to go check all the other ones because they might have changed. Yeah, see that D that D went a little south on me when I tensioned up the other one. So did my G. Yeah. Always go back. Once you get these two, go back and check the other ones. That way we can try to treat the world to mandolins in tune. Up the neck. That's a real good test. Play the opens with the high ups. If your bridge is out, at this point you will know. Because it'll just sound off. Anyway, there you go. You're welcome.